Hey there guys, Roy from Radiant Clean. Today we're going to be doing this house washing right here in Tampa. And yeah, it's got some dirt and grime on the inside. Let's see what we can get off with that. It's an older house. I think it was built back in like 1910 or something like that. So we're going to be careful with her. It's also got this back attached garage we're going to be doing. Got some stuff on the soffits and stuff up there. We're also going to do the driveway. Yeah, we might need to hit from both sides. We're just going to do a walkthrough and do some property protection. Make sure that we're covering outlets and any exposed cameras and stuff like that we need to keep from getting bleach on it. We're gonna have to do around the backside here too. Not sure if I can reach that or not. Got some damage on the siding there a little bit. I'm gonna do this bad boy. He said this should be unlocked, but he sent me the code to that. So anyway, we'll do a walkthrough of this and get some property protection going. It doesn't look too bad. Got some dirt on the siding a little bit. I'm not sure if you can see it. Definitely got some up on the soffits and stuff. But the owner said he just closed on this recently, so get it looking spruced up for him. Then we're gonna do the driveway and get that cleaned up. So let me go find a lock code to this door, and then we'll do some property protection and get the hoses pulled. We'll be back with you in a minute. Alright, here's the back of the house. We're gonna need to do some property protection on this. Got some spider webs, dirt and grime. There's a gate over here. Check if there's a gate over here. We do have some damaged paint in here, so we're gonna need to be careful with this. It's flaking. Try to avoid this whole section. Looks like he's got some water damage there. And the deck looks like got some rotting going on the deck. There's some gate on this side, I don't think. Might have to come over that with the hose if we can't reach. Make sure we don't get those cords. Alright, so we're going to set up some property protection here and we'll get going. Be back in a few. Alright guys, we're going to do behind the garage first today, I think. Since that is kind of out of the way here. For those of you wondering, we're using a 1.5% downstreaming mix on this of sodium hypochlorite, or better known as bleach, or as SH. When applying the SH, and then work our way to the top, and that's to avoid kind of the marks or anything like that that's left as it streams down. So we don't want it to, oxidize or anything as we're spraying this on the paint, especially on older paint like this. So we start at the bottom when spraying the SH, and then you'll notice when I do the rinsing, we start at the top and rinse downward to try to get all the residue off. it down these sides. Right out front, do that side real quick. Let that dwell. And we can come back and rinse it. Questions about this all the time, and yeah, you can hear our pressure washer running in the background, the loud noise. But we are in fact doing what we're calling soft washing. So we're not using a high pressure tip on this. We're just using the benefit of 8 gallons per minute that comes out of our pressure washer, and that is downstreaming the SH in there in the mix. So there's sodium hypochlorite in the water, and then we apply this first coat, but we're not using pressure to clean it. It's just getting the chemical on there and letting it kill the organics that are there on the surface, like mold, mildew, algae, that type of stuff, moss. Let that sit there for a few minutes and kill all the organics, and then we rinse it off with a copious amount of water. Again, it's not high pressure. When I have the nozzle narrowed down a little bit more, you can see it's just for reaching those high spots, but we're not actually applying pressure to the siding. We gotta finish that coat on it and rinse it off. Some of the surfaces here. Alright, and if you heard that beep when I clicked the remote, that was me switching over to the rinse cycle on our downstreaming. We have a remote control that we can switch from just fresh water or a water sodium hypochlorite mix, and so that way I don't have to walk all the way back to the truck and switch valves and that kind of stuff. I can just do it remotely, which saves me a lot of time and steps during the day. So that beep was me switching over to fresh water, and then so we're just rinsing the sodium hypochlorite off the siding right now. We don't want it to sit on there too long or dry because it could oxidize the paint. We just want it to kill the organics, but not to leave it on there too long. So again, now we're taking advantage of that 8 gallons per minute that comes out of our pressure washing system, but using a soft nozzle, so it's not applying pressure. It's just applying a lot of water to rinse that stuff off and get all the dirt and grime and all that kind of stuff out there without damaging this very old paint that's on here, because it is wanting to flake off in some areas. So if we applied any sort of pressure to it, it would come off. I'm gonna let this dwell on this side a little bit more because we got some pretty bad mildew underneath the edges there, if you can see. So we might need to hit that again. That's pretty mildewy. But, so I'll go around and rinse the back first. And the sides. Get this taken care of. Well, must be low water pressure here because the tank ran out of water, even though the water's flowing. So, gotta wait for that to fill. That's gonna kill some time, unfortunately. So, let that fill back up, figure why the water's not flowing very good. Get back to rinsing this down. Might have to get the ladder to get up there. So I'm gonna get the ladder out now while I'm waiting, and we'll try to reach up into the top area there. We're going up now. As you can see, we get these hard to reach places sometimes where even if with the more concentrated nozzle, we just can't reach all the sides of it because they're kind of tucked way back on the roof. So unfortunately, we have to get up on the ladder and climb to hit those spots. Fortunately, this roof is not particularly steep or that high, so it wasn't that big a deal, and it actually had kind of a cool view of the downtown Tampa area where this was located. This is in the Bayshore area of Tampa. In one of the older neighborhoods, so that was kind of cool to get up there and see stuff, but not unusual for us to have to climb up on a ladder to hit stuff when it's harder to reach. Well, here we'll see how it's coming along. And this is just oxidation. Alright, I think she's gonna be ready to rinse here. Alright guys, finished up with this house cleaning. Just finished doing the cement walkways and driveway. Got a lot of the dirt that was on here off. Post-treated the driveway so it'll be nice and clean. But these are all covered with grime and stuff. It's gonna need a painting. There's a lot of siding that's gonna need to be repaired. But we even got most of the grime out the soffit. Some of that is oxidation, so that's not gonna clean up too much. We didn't put it in our quote, but we threw in the pavers back here because they needed it. So just went ahead and did that for them. So right now I'm just gonna go around and get the protection tape off, remove all that stuff. But these are all full of mold and stuff. That looks a lot better. So all right, another great job here from Radiant Clean. We're gonna clean up and roll up our hoses and head out. We'll talk to you guys later.